Man, you wanted to know all the stuff you've been missing out on while you was gone, what was happening in the world. Well, look, I'm going to tell you, okay? I'm going to give you my best breakdown, and I put together a little bit of something for it. You know what I'm saying? And just sit back, drink your green tea, man, and oh, you got liquor? All right. You ain't going to get all belligerent, are you? Well, you know how you get when you drink. Nah, that wasn't me. That was you, man. You the one, nah, man, that was you, man. You the one stop bringing up that old thing, man. I paid you back. All right, man. I'm not trying to go there. I'm just saying, you the one drinking, fam. All right, so first thing I want to do, I want to tell you about this story. All right. First story I want to get to is crazy. You know what? I'm not even going to introduce it because when it start playing, you're going to be like, what? I know you are. I know you're going to be tripping. You're going to be like, this can't be true. Believe it.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Tonight, the chilling new details about a Wisconsin teen charged with killing his mother and stepfather. Newly unsealed court documents alleging a convoluted plot by the 17-year-old to overthrow the government, including the assassination of President Trump, and what investigators are saying about his alleged neo-Nazi views and motivation to kill his parents. Here's ABC's Christian Cordero.
Tonight, the FBI accusing this Wisconsin teen of murdering his parents as part of an extremist plot, alleging he was planning to assassinate President Trump and overthrow the U.S. government. Prosecutors say 17-year-old Nikita Kasap shot and killed his mother and stepfather inside their Waukesha home in February before stealing their car and leaving with the family dog. Officials later discovering the bodies during a welfare check.
Victim B body was appeared to have been deceased for some time, was unable to definitively identify who it was.
Law enforcement eventually arresting Kasap during a traffic stop in Kansas, saying they found a handgun, pried open safe, jewelry, and $14,000 cash inside the vehicle, as well as documents on his phone calling for the assassination of the President of the United States in order to foment a political revolution. The FBI says Kasap was motivated by white supremacy with extremist neo-Nazi views. In newly released court documents, authorities allege Kasap wrote, quote, "As to why specifically Trump, I think it's pretty obvious. By getting rid of the president and perhaps the vice president, that is guaranteed to bring in some chaos." Officials go on to claim Kasap killed his parents as part of an effort to obtain the financial means and autonomy necessary to carry out his plan. Whit, authorities allege Kasap paid in part for a drone and explosives for an attack, and that he appeared to have been in contact with others. Kasap is in custody on a $1 million bond. Whit?
An alarming case. Christian, thank you.
I haven't found it yet.
Yeah, man, I got another clip we got to go to about the same story, but I know you're like, what? Man, 17 years old. First thing that came to my mind when I read this, when I saw this, is what is going on with white culture, man? Yeah, white people got a culture problem. You know what I'm saying? Something's wrong with their culture. And they keep raising killers that kill both parents. You know, I'm just saying. But he was ambitious. Yeah, he was crazy. He was a cold-blooded murderer. Obviously a psychopath. Obviously disassociated, like, from reality, no emotions. There's a lot of words for it. I forget all the terms for a person that kills their parents. Oh, that's right. A young white person. That's what they call it. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just looking at this, I'm like, crazy killer, but he had high aspirations. That wasn't enough. Then he wanted to overthrow the government. I'm trying to tell you, man, this is just diabolical. And every time one of these cases happens, you know, all I can think about are all the white guys that be on Twitter, X, and various social media, asking black people what's wrong with their kids. You know, people do what they want to do, but it's like no one will look at all white kids and say, but when a black kid does something, they look at all black people and go, see? it's just bad, man. It's bad. He stayed in the house. So this was not like, oh, he did something in a fit of rage. He planned to kill his parents. And look at their house. Nice house. Rotten on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Inside, maggots. I'm not talking about the parents, I'm talking about the son. The inside of him. And what was going on in that house, I have no idea. But he didn't leave anything saying that the parents were bad or something. I'm like, did the parents do something to him? Because I'm looking for a reason. But the reason is he's a Nazi. He willing to sacrifice everything for the white race. So his way of saving the saving white people, was to kill his parents. And I don't know what he's gonna do with $1,400, but he put a down payment on a drone and some explosives. He's 17 years old and he was able to buy explosives. Let's keep going. I mean, there's a little bit more. I think there's a grandmother that's going to talk in the second part. Check this out.
Judith Mayer's 17-year-old grandson appeared in court for the first time since he was charged in connection to the deaths of his mother and stepfather.
This is in the District Court of Trigo County, Kansas. It's in the matter of Nikita Kasap.
The teenager was not in school for 2 weeks at Waukesha West High School before a school resource officer and his grandmother requested a welfare check at the family home. It's there police found his mother, Tatiana Kasap, and his stepdad, Donald Mayer, dead with dried blood surrounding the scene.
I loved him so much, and his wife, she was lovely.
According to court documents, the teenager left the scene with a gun and their dog in the family vehicle. Police pinged Kasap's phone in Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Colorado. On Saturday, police in Waukene, Kansas, pulled him over at a traffic stop where Kasap was arrested and evidence was found. As Kasap appeared for an extradition hearing,
yes, that's correct.
He has 2 felony counts of operating a motor vehicle without the owner's consent and theft of movable.
Look how he tried to act all hospitable, like he's all, grammatically correct and trying to act all normal and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you do something like this, you should not try to act normal. That's one thing I got to give this to the white kids, man, and crazy white people in general. They'll do the craziest thing and then act normal, like, hi, hello, how are you doing? I'm doing just fine. I hope you're doing fine. Yes, hello, Your Honor. Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. Pardon me. I didn't mean to speak out of turn. I apologize. I hope you accept my apology. Thank you, Your Honor. I mean, they'll talk just as normal. 3 people under the stairs. See, at least black people, when we go crazy and we do crazy things, we act crazy. See that guy who ran into all them people? Remember the guy who ran? He took the car. I think it was like Wisconsin or something. It was like Christmas time or something. He ran over people. He was in court acting like a nut. At least he's consistent. This right here, this makes you look at all young white guys like, I don't know. Cause see how they act? He act like a character out of Black Mirror. Real talk.
Property.
It's the best interest of justice that Mr. Kasap remains in the detention center in Garden City, Kansas.
The magistrate judge gave the state of Wisconsin until March 15th to get him back to Waukesha. While the teenager is not charged for their deaths, this grandmother is struggling with the possibility of what may have happened.
What? Not charged with their deaths? Hi. So he just stayed in the house with dead bodies and didn't call nobody because he didn't feel like using the phone. He just emptied out their accounts and took their car after some strange intruder broke in and killed both his parents. I mean, at least he did take the dog with him. But I'm just saying. Nah, man. Come on, man. But maybe he's redeemable. See, there'll be people trying to redeem this guy. Maybe he's redeemable. He needed people to talk to. Maybe he'd been bullied in school. See, white kids can get bullied in school and kill everybody. People still be like, we should talk to them. We should do better as a society. What does this say about us? When there's a black person, they be like, what does this say about black people? They don't put no us in it. They just be like, black people, it's music, it's this. No, they buy more rap music than we do. White people buy more rap music than us, but whenever somebody black do something crazy, they want to blame rap music as if they ain't listening to more rap music than us. We almost done. You know what I'm saying, though, fam? Take another drink, you'll get it.
It's very difficult to accept that Nicky killed his mother and father. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Next tonight, the chilling new details.
Yeah, in that case, it makes sense. Oh, Tim, don't use that word. Nah, man, there's a lot of people with mental problems. They don't do this. So that's true, but you know what I'm saying. Give me another word for it. Psychopath. I use that one, right? Antisocial. What was the other one I used? Young white person. That's what it was. Particularly young white guy. Young white male. Same thing. Horrible, man. Horrible. All right, man. I know that's crazy. I don't know what to tell you. What do I think about it? Look, man. I cover horrible stories all the time. I saw this. I wasn't going to cover it. Then I was talking to Buck before the show, and he was like, did you see the 17-year-old kid? I was like, damn, I guess I got to cover it. Because I guess people are talking about. I was going to wait till like tomorrow. Man, I got no words, man. Right now, I'm looking at everything that's happening. I'm covering what's going on with Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf and the Metcalfs and that horrible situation, that tragedy. And I'm looking at this guy. He killed 2 parents, plotted to kill Trump. And you know, the White House didn't have no words for it because they've kind of tired of people trying to kill Trump, man. This guy, his goal was to kill Trump. It's this, and they got to charge him with it because he didn't talk about doing it. He proceeded to do things to do it. Like he bought the drone and he bought the explosive. So he had a plan. You got to get him for at least a conspiracy. So I don't know, man. I just think we need to take a real good look at black culture, man, and find out if we can help black culture talk to white culture, because white culture is dangerous. Yeah. Well, it ain't, you know. I'm just saying, we ain't going to hear enough of this. Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones need to do a special about white kids. I guess now Alex Jones, he got into enough trouble talking about white kids, huh? He almost lost everything talking about white kids. He can talk about black kids all the time. When nobody be suing him for nothing. Talk about the white kids, though. Go from InfoWars to InfoPours. All right. Let's go to the next story. What else we got? What else we got here? We got more here. We got more. Yeah. Maybe he didn't like his name. Nikita. Kind of a hard name to live with. Nikita KSAP. The KSAP, I guess, is, but the Nikita, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what it was. White supremacy, huh? Is being a Nazi that much fun? It makes you want to, destroy the world. Yeah, like if you're the master race, listen to what I'm saying here, bro. I know it sounds crazy, fam. Check it out. If being the master race was, all it's chalked up to be, why would they need your help if they the master race? Like, if you're the master race, why do you need to plot to destroy the planet when you already the master race? Like, why would you do it? Why do you need a race war if you're the master? It don't make sense. You're the master race. You won, right? See, it's always chips in the armor. You know what I'm saying? Always chips in the armor, man. All right. Yeah, I got more. I got other stories. Let's go to since we're talking about families and talking about stuff, let's get this out the way. Because, like I said, we've been covering the Carmelo Anthony story. And I ran across this, and this is real short, man, but I want to share it with you because, yeah, So the white kid who was unalived by Carmelo Anthony. Well, his dad was very quick to jump out and say, hey, you know, he was very angry at first, and then he started dialing things back. He was like, oh, hold on. See, this ain't about race. And he started sounding like a good Boy Scout, you know? And it was like unexpected because out the blue, he went from being very angry, looking for the death penalty, to being a guy that was like, look, this ain't about race, it's about human beings. And I'm like, where's this coming from? You know what I'm saying? It was to the point where white people were threatening him, like they were like wondering why he was betraying the white race by doing what black people do every time I turn around. When somebody went like with the shooting at the black church, like the next day they were like, we forgive him, we forgive the shooter, we forgive him, Dylan Roof. But see, when you do that and you white, then the neo-Nazis come out to you because they're like, how could you? So anyway, the point is this. I always wondered what was up with that guy, Metcalf, right? The father. And then I saw this. And like, I don't know how you fake this, so I cannot say definitively that this is authentic. It looked authentic. I didn't check it, but it looked real to me. But you know, man, people can do anything nowadays. Let me get this one off the screen. Hold on, guys. This is what I'm talking about. See this? Now, it says here, Jeffrey Charles Metcalf. And he got a couple charges now. It was a speeding appeal from something, but then they put here sexual assault. Now, I don't know if that's accurate. I'm not sure because the way they squared this box up here, you see what I'm saying? Can you see it? Now that I'm even looking at it close, it seems a little weird. Let me get over here. See how they got sexual assault? I don't know. But then they're like scrolling, right? So this is a video. Criminal or traffic record matches. Okay, so that's on the top. Speeding. That's kind of municipal speeding appeal from lower court. No big deal. Then arrests for what? Okay, that's the one. That's sexual assault. So they're saying sexual assault. Now, I don't know who that's on, but I know him and the wife on together. And I don't know, and I didn't get a chance to catch the date on this. So anyway, the point is this. What people are saying is, this is 2011. People are saying Tim Black, this is one of the reasons why Dad was talking kind of nice, like he wanted to, act very humane because his background ain't squeaky clean. If it was a black kid who was slain by a white kid, this be everywhere. Oh, you would see this. Oh man, I'm telling you, you couldn't go anywhere. It'd be billboards with this up. What? Run-ins with the Lord of Dad and the From a Broken Home? Oh my God. It'd be nonstop. They be looking at all black dads saying how horrible black dad is. Because that's what they do. They take the person who's deceased and they expose everything about their life. You don't know anything about the alleged perpetrator, right? But it's different now because the deceased is white kid. And I know that sounds bad, but it's true. You know it's true. Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Someone said, Tim Black, man, it feels like you're trying to justify murder. I'm saying, bro, I'm not trying to justify murder. I'm saying I don't agree it was murder. That's a big difference. I ain't trying to justify murder. I don't believe it was murder. I believe it was something else. Okay, we'll see. We'll see in a court of law, won't we? Won't you just wait till all the evidence come out? Like the footage. Because they got video. A lot of people recorded it. The lawyer, Carmelo Anthony's lawyer, said there's a lot of footage that the police department has. The Frisco Police Department has a lot of footage. Because it's at a game. I mean, at a track meet. Everybody got phones. So there's a lot of film. And if that film shows Justin pursuing him, if it shows the two boys or Austin, if it shows Austin pursuing him, Carmelo, this could be a different thing. So, hey, all I'm saying is people are saying that the dad, The mom had an unstable home. That's part of the reason they're leaning towards arson acting out. And we'll see. We'll see what the tape reveals. But this story ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere, man. I keep you up to date, man. I'm glad you woke up so I could tell you about this, but it's gonna be more coming. All right. Next story. That's not the only one. I got another one. I got a few, Let's get that out of here. Let's go to this, Sal. Since you've been gone, Trump done put tariffs on, raised the tariffs, lowered the tariffs. He's been terrifying people with tariffs. You know what I'm saying? It's like all over the place. And look, Democrats have been using it to say Trump is erratic, he's crazy. Republicans, for the most part, been standing by him, but it's getting crazier, right? China, if you go on TikTok, Chinese business folks, manufacturers, what have you, trying to give you insight about what's going on with the tariffs and why tariffs on China ain't going to work. And this is crazy, right? But one of the things when the Democrats trying to do is they're trying to vilify Trump. Surprise, right? In this clip, they're gonna have the United Auto Workers union guy on the show. I don't know why he went on this program because it's one of the. You'll see. He likes Trump's plan. Check it out.
Good morning, sir. UAW President Shawn Fain joins us now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good morning, Mr. Fain. It's good to see you. So, I'm with you. I'm with you on all of this in terms of the disruption and the destruction of the process. But you have as UAW president, talked about how automakers can afford these tariffs. Noting in analysis, Anderson Economic.
Jesus Christ, man, these guys, Michael Steele, man, you read, is English like your first or fifth language? Which one is it? Because Jesus Christ. Well, I told you stop drinking that Maker's Mark in between segments. Jesus Christ. More tongue-tied than a little bit, ain't he? Look at Fane. You're like, Jesus Christ, some people, these amateurs. Okay, let's try this again.
Have, as UAW president, talked about how automakers can afford these tariffs. Noting in analysis, Anderson Economic Group estimated the Detroit 3, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, would see a reduction of about $5 billion in operating profits in North America for the rest of the year if the tariffs remain unchanged. It's estimated that it could reduce annual profit-sharing checks for auto workers by $1,000 to $5,000. How can they afford that in addition to the impact on jobs and potential layoffs? Because as car prices go up, those cuts are going to be a big consideration for the automakers.
Well, there's several things you're talking about right here, and I'll try to get as much as I can in a 3-minute clip here. But when it comes to tariffs, look, we support tariffs on auto, on heavy truck, on agricultural implement. We have plants at Deere in Iowa right now that are threatening to be closed and go to Mexico. Heavy truck plants in Volvo, Mack in Pennsylvania that the company's threatening to send to Mexico. The Big Three alone has. And 12 assembly plants in the Big Three have excess capacity. These 12 plants used to produce 2 million more vehicles than they're currently producing. They could utilize that excess capacity in places like with Stellantis in Toledo South Assembly Plant, Belvidere, Illinois, Warren, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, Ford in Louisville Assembly, GM all over the country. They could utilize that excess capacity, and in very short order, they could create 50,000 jobs. Those are good-paying jobs, and how this all impacts profits. Let's talk about profits. In the last 15 years, the top 10 automakers in this country generated $1.6 trillion in profits. And you know what they did with those profits? They didn't reinvest it into plants. They didn't lower prices for consumers, and they sure as hell didn't invest it in the workers. But what they did do, they spent $367 billion in buybacks and dividends for Wall Street and over $1 billion for CEOs. That's what's got to change. They can afford this, and the fear that they want to put out there as Wall Street's having a meltdown is the fact that they want to make people afraid of this because they don't want to share. You know, we heard the same fight in our big three contract talks, that if we got these contracts, it was going to, cause prices to go up and the companies would have trouble, surviving. And what happened? We got great contracts. Guess what? They paid out billions in buybacks and dividends to their shareholders, and they still made profits.
But, Mr. President, if I may, I'm with you on what people were saying about the big three contracts. Like, I think that was crazy. This is what the companies were saying because they didn't want to pay the people that were doing the work. The prices, literally, the wages hadn't gone up in years. It was crazy. So I'm with you on that. But on these tariffs, if we were talking about targeted tariffs, I think that this would be a different conversation. But, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but even for cars that are made in America, even Stellantis, Ford, GM, don't some of the parts from the cars come from elsewhere? Don't things still have to be imported? So these blanket tariffs that are happening all across the board elsewhere, aren't they hurting the auto manufacturers and, by extension, the workers in the plants? Already one plant has closed, and they're gonna find the facts for me in my ear. But I was reading just last week that in anticipation of the tariffs, one of the plants in the South said, you know what, we're just gonna pause. We're not gonna be doing any more expanding because we don't know how this is gonna affect us. So we're not having a real... Donald Trump is not doing what other...
It sounds like you and Michael still don't know what the hell y'all talking about. It's like y'all throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall. The guy only get 20 seconds to respond. What are y'all even talking about, man? It's a horrible segment. Look, guys, fam. It seemed to me like the only purpose of this segment here is to dump on tariffs. That's it. They got a talking point. They're going to get their talking points out. They don't have to make sense. They don't got to understand nothing. Long as they let the world know tariff bad. Orange man bad, tariff bad. Orange man bad, tariff bad. Democrats love you. That's it. That's the whole point of this segment, guys.
Presidents have done in the past. This is very different. So this is dangerous. And I do think the people that are walking around talking about...
I thought you were going to ask a question. She's still talking.
Like the sky.
Man. Now, see, look, y'all making me feel bad for Joy Reid now. Joy was smoother than this shit. How they keep a child? How did I know it's because Tim, she's a sister, but this is whack. I don't know. I never watched Joy enough to see her do this. I'm just saying, Jesus Christ. They let go of Joy. Who else they give it up? Lester Hope. I ain't never seen Lester this long-winded, not even getting to a question.
Is falling Chicken Little. They are probably right this time, no?
No, I don't believe they are. No, look, here's the problem. We're talking about tariffs on everything under the sun right now. Now that, we've been very clear. We do believe, and we know, when it comes to auto, when it comes to heavy truck and agricultural implement, we know that tariffs will influence these companies to do the right thing and reinvest in this country and reinvest in factories in this country. It's interesting. Stellantis, as Trump was announcing the tariff, announced at the same moment that they were going to lay off 800 people. That didn't change as Trump was making an announcement. To me, it's just trying to bait people. At the end of the day, we believe that Stellantis and these companies will bring work back because of these tariffs. I mean, look what they've done without them. Let's talk about the realities of what, and this is saying, I've been reading a lot of this lately. Going back, in 1992, I voted for Ross Perot. Mm-hmm. You know why I voted for Ross Perot? For one reason, because he was the only candidate that talked about how devastating NAFTA would be to American jobs and to our manufacturing base. And he talked about that giant sucking sound. You know, I've read this book here in the last week, you know, Save your jobs, save our country. Why NAFTA must be stopped now. You know what's interesting? Since then, Ross Perot's become a prophet. Since NAFTA was inception in 1993, we've lost 90,000 manufacturing facilities in this country, millions of jobs. And these weren't, you know, low-end jobs. These were jobs that paid decent wages, had good benefits, retirement security.
No, I agree with you.
They built communities.
But here's my thing.
But
don't cut him off. Don't cut him off, Johnson. Damn it.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah, don't cut him off when he's giving you the business. We want to hear the real truth, man. And the truth is, he's closer to it than you are. And this is a guy who supported Biden. He supported Biden and Kamala. He was not supporting Trump. You know what? He said, no, you know what? I got to support this because this helps the unions. This is going to help workers. And what good would he be if he didn't? And I was pissed because, you know, Dr. Cornel West, when I was the union workers out on the strike, they were having a strike, and Dr. West was standing out there in the rain, man. And Biden did a drive-by. Was out there for 10 minutes. Cornel West was out there for 4 hours in the rain, and they did a photo op with damn Biden because they thought Biden was going to win. So I'm not saying I'm a fan of this guy. He did that because he's doing what was best for his union. And he, you know, so he went with Biden. And now this guy's saying, I agree with Trump on this. And I know we had bad blood, and I know I didn't rock with him, but now I'm rocking with him because this makes sense. So, yeah, you got to let him talk. You got to let him break it down for us. He said 90, did he say 90,000? I don't know how many shots. I can't imagine that number. I don't want to rewind it. He just said a lot of closures happened with manufacturing. He said millions of jobs are lost, and those weren't these wasn't somebody picking was it Jasmine Crockett want to say, you know, people just want jobs picking crops or picking oranges or apples. No, he said good paying jobs. He said good jobs that you waste families off. These were the jobs that went away. So there are some people that believe there's a way to bring some of those jobs back. I know not all of them can come back. And I know about automation. I had Andrew Yang on this show talking about automation. It's a very true thing. But there will be more jobs if we are able to bring back manufacturing here. It would be a net positive. It will never go back to 1990. 1990 is gone. It's never going to return. But we can do better than we're doing now, where if you're a young person coming out of school, you end up with all this debt going to college and not even know if you're going to get a job, be able to find a job when you come out, or going to the service. Man, you know, people had to go to the service, and then we just send them to some whack-ass war because there ain't a lot of options. Folks, not everybody lives somewhere where there are a lot of options as far as industry. It's like hospitality. Then they also competing against new arrivals to the country that are willing to take a whole lot less money because they're used to making a whole lot less money. So now you're telling me that something that we could do actively here, where it's a reciprocal tariff to tariffs that have already been placed on us, and you want to say it's a non-starter, you want to cut this guy off when he's talking about it, Mike ain't got nothing important to say, don't know what he's talking about. All the Democrats know to do is say, bad idea. And look, guys, they got no good ideas. If you're gonna say that Trump's idea sucks, you got to have a counter idea other than his idea is horrible. Your idea can't be to keep doing what we're doing. And that's the only idea they have. It's to demonize Trump, tell you he's horrible, telling you he's doing all this to give money to the richest man in the world, who already the richest man in the world. Like Trump doing all this to give Elon Musk money. It's ludicrous. It's crazy what they talk about. It's nuts. And they don't really have any definitive pushback. I want to hear what this Menendez sister guy say. Because these two just struck out. You got something that you want to add, some other comment to prove that you have more of a grasp of this situation?
NAFTA was 30 years ago. The situation that we are dealing with right now, and I agree with you. I'm on the side of the folks that said this did the American workers wrong. Absolutely. But right now we are dealing with a situation where it's not. These are blanket tariffs. We are dealing with a situation.
Hey, don't nobody ever tell me that I can't do network TV. Don't you ever say that. If you ever say, Tim Black, how could you ever think that you could do TV? How could you ever think that you... Besides the fact I'm gonna get fired in my first week after I say some real shit. Besides that, don't ever tell me that. Have you listened to these people talk? Yeah, maybe if you compare me to, I don't know, Lester Holt, maybe I can, but if you compare me to Michael Steele and Simone Sanders, I'm looking good. Smooth as a newborn baby's bottom. Smooth as hell.
Where manufacturing is not going to come back in 2 weeks. So I am really struggling to understand how UAW has aligned itself with Trump on this.
Well, and I think more specifically, Mr. Fain, just real quick on that point, how do tariffs create jobs?
So first off, NAFTA is still causing us to lose jobs in this country.
That's true.
Our broken trade system is still causing us to lose jobs in this country. And no one from either party has been willing to even address the issue for 30 plus years. That's the first thing. And we support tariffs as a tool in the toolbox, not the end-all be-all. We got to fix the broken trade system. But tariffs are a motivator to make these companies do the right thing. When we're talking auto, I can't speak for, penguins and all this other crazy stuff going on, but I'll speak to what I know. And, when we talk about parts, there's an exclusion for parts sector right now. The reason there's an exclusion is because we've been talking with the administration about how to make these tariffs work, and they've been working with us on that. And unfortunately, and just to be honest, we've been very clear when it comes to politics in the UAW since I took over. We're not going to just vote for someone or support someone because of what letters in front of their name. Those days are over. We expect people to deliver for working class people. And, while we extremely disagree with a lot of the egregious things that this administration is doing, attacks on diversity, equity, inclusion, attacks on federal contracts for workers, attacks on NLRB.
Who cares about any of that? Man,
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Man, didn't nobody ask you none of that, man. Why are you going to be volunteering to get yourself screwed over? Stay on point. Why are you talking about DEI? You need some DEI in your union, probably. Unions notoriously discriminate, but DEI ain't going to fix it, are they? Regular old discrimination lawsuits on that ass. Why are you bringing that up now? They still scared to be supportive of Trump, man. Look at him. Grown-ass man, 60 years old, scared of what the Democrats gonna say. You just said neither party wanted to do shit for you. Neither one of them. And then you're gonna do what the one guy that's willing to stick his neck out and try crazy shit to try to help. You want to just have all these disclaimers. Well, I don't agree with him all the time, and I don't agree on this, and I ain't a bigot. He racist, and I'm not. He's kind of Hitlerish, and I'm not. I love the Jews. I love the blacks. I love everybody. Give me migrants. Give me migrants. Come on, trans, let's play basketball. Come on, man. You sucker, man. Worry about auto workers. Worry about the jobs. Start talking about how we can get those jobs for kids in high school. How we can start prepping them for those jobs coming out of these STEM programs. That's what I'm talking about. Because my governor in Maryland, Wes Moore, he just signed something so that we're gonna amp up our amount of kids getting trade jobs, training for apprenticeships. That's what I'm talking about. So let's start bridging that gap, man. But don't talk to me about DEI and trans bathrooms, man. You ain't running for office, is you? Ignorant. All right, shit. You done threw me off, bro.
OSHA, where we just had a fatality recently. We need more OSHA regulation, not less. We disagree on all those things, on attacks on free speech, on workers that protest.
I'm about to cut his
but
ass
where we
off.
agree is we agree something.
Man, slam his head in the door, man.
Has to be done to fix this broken trade system. And we've been working very hard with them to make sure that in auto it's done the right way. And I do believe, like I said, the fear out there now is it takes 3 years to build a factory. We don't need to build factories. We can utilize the excess capacity we have in this country right now and put tens of thousands of people back to work. It's a choice.
That's what I've been hearing. They don't need to build factories. So there's a couple things he brought up here that just destroyed a couple talking points. One of them was, oh, what about the parts? Oh, we got an exclusion on the parts, goofy. Yeah, we got an exclusion on the parts. So, yeah. So that's not included in the tariff because we talked to Trump. He ain't trying to hurt us by making it harder to get parts for cars that we got a service. Right? So that's out the bucket. And then the other thing, because I heard a lot of people say this is going around everywhere. Oh, what about, it's going to take so long to build these factories. Nah, man, we got room. He said in the beginning, you don't listen. He said in the beginning that we got all this space and we were producing so many cars at one time coming out of these shops. And now we're not because we don't have to work. Give them work, they'll do the job. I think that's about it. Is that it, guys? Did we get enough out of that? Let's see if they don't say anything too dumb before we end it up.
John, help me understand, when you are having these conversations with the administration about what it would look like to do this the right way, as you say, can you give us a sense of the counsel you are offering and the extent to which you feel that has already been absorbed and metabolized into their policy, and the things they have not done that you have recommended that you think would be necessary in order to actually get where you want to go?
Well, I can't break down every specific item. We have, look, we have a great team of people working with the administration, and I'll tell you, I mean, one of the things specifically I would tell you is this, is with the parts sector. I mean, there was an exclusion in there for parts for this reason, because the supply chain has to keep moving, in order for these companies to do the right thing and shift product back. So, they did listen on that. They're working with us on that. Some things that have to be fixed still. When we talk about, heavy truck industry and agricultural implement, and even when you talk heavy truck, you're talking, half, 3/4 ton and 1 ton, Ram pickup trucks that are made in Mexico right now. Things like that still have to be addressed, and we're working on those things with them. So, but Stellantis, chose to be a bad actor. I mean, look, Ford and GM reacted right out the gate. They didn't say the sky is falling. GM actually brought work back to Fort Wayne, Indiana. We don't talk about that publicly because it's a good thing. Ford lowered prices on their vehicles. They gave everyone, all the consumers, employee discounts, things like that. So there are things these companies can do, and Ford and GM are getting creative at doing that. Unfortunately, Stellantis, in the interim, chose to do the horrible thing that their previous CEO was doing, which is punish workers. We believe that'll turn around, and we're working with the administration to make that happen. So, we'll see where we end up. But I do believe we're going to see a lot more jobs come back in this country.
All right, I want to leave it there, man. I want to say what's up with this. This is a good segment. Overall, it was a good segment. I don't like that he felt he had to do that. But, as much as I don't like it, man, some of these people feel like they got to buckle to the Democrats, man. It's disappointing, but I get it, man. So, not everybody's willing to walk off into the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's willing to throw caution to the wind and be like, look, this is what I'm going to stand on. This is what I believe. And, let it be what it's going to be. People got families. They ain't crazy like me. Okay? But I tell you right now, I'm a Democratic Party hater. And I've done told you that a million times. And I say, screw them. If you ain't helping us solve the problem, you're part of the problem. And I ain't going to apologize for working with anybody who's trying to fix my problem. I've been telling people that all this time. It doesn't matter. You ain't got to like Trump. If Trump got a solution to your problem, you need to damn sure listen. We don't wait. We know when we got problems, then we don't need to sit around for 3 years and go, well, we don't need to fix it. We don't need to do that. What kind of shit is that? Black people on the bottom of everything in this country that's good, and at the top on the list of everything that's bad. That's how we got it. How's it going? How it's been and how's it going? Hell, bad, okay? So we don't have time to sit around and worry about being someone's favorite friend. If the Democratic Party was our friend, we wouldn't be in this predicament to begin with, would we? Now, you know what? White people, y'all can. If y'all want to do that song and dance, particularly you well-off white people, if you want to do a song and dance, we got to kiss Democratic Party ass and can't accept that you got 3.5 years, man. Trump gonna be president for 3.5 years. And last time I checked, we ain't had 3.5 years to throw away. Shoot. So you need to work with who's in there. And to me, he's a lot more amenable to working with you as far as what we need financially than Biden. Biden went in there, ran up the damn inflation to 9.1%, highest inflation in 40 years. And they got goofies telling me how great he was. They can't count. Anybody's great if you can't count how bad the surplus was or how much they were subtracted from the economy. Got black businesses that went away that ain't come back yet. We got black homes. People lost their homes back under Obama, still ain't been able to buy a new home. They're still stuck in apartments. So don't tell me this bullshit. We don't have time to wait. And those people that say we got time to wait and what you doing fraternizing with the Republicans or what you doing talking to Trump, you sound like you're doing well. You're in a privileged position where you can wait. Because you're doing good. You're like, we need to not normalize. What kind of shit is that? How you gonna say not normalize? Trump won his primary 3 times in a row. When was the last time a Democrat did that? Say he ain't got no mandate. He won 3 times in a row. Half the country voted for him 3 times in a row. What are you talking about? You can get half the country to vote for Kamala 1 time in a row. So anyway, that's it. Hey, I'm willing to see what's going to happen. You should be willing to see it too. And if you are doing so well where you can wait till your Democrat maybe gets back in office before you want to work on these things, fine. But if you're somebody that's not doing well and you still talking like that, you still don't want to work with Trump, you still don't want to see what's going to happen, you still don't want to try any novel ideas, well, you sound like what we call a new fool. Is you speaking for yourself. Bunch of circle jerk Democrats. Now, the rest of us, we need to get what we can get out of this administration while we got it. He came in and he wasn't scared to use his pen. All right, that's it. Well, I know I'm crazy, but I'm serious, man. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Hit the like button if that makes sense. Well, I know it's just us talking, but hit the like button. Let the people on the algorithm know you like the show. Next. You know what? I saw this. I don't think people understand just how delusional the Democratic Party is. Yeah, when you're sitting around and you're going, I don't want to work with Trump. I saw this clip and it reminded me. A lot of people that roll with the Democrats ain't wrapped too tight. They've been watching the wrong news, don't know what's going on in the world, and are locked into a bubble. And y'all had us thinking it was just the QAnon people that was locked in the bubble. Nah, we had Democrats locked in the bubble too. Case in point.
Harris wins. But I'm going to get pregnant and then have like 50 abortions.
Fox News is projecting that former President Trump will win the state of Florida.
I swear to God, if you idiots elect that demented man, I will burn this whole f***ing place to the ground.
Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina.
All right, guys, it's time to go to bed. None of us are stressed about the election, right?
Fox News can now project that the state of Georgia will go to former President Donald Trump.
I dare you to tell me to calm down right now.
We are now projecting that Donald J. Trump will win the state of Pennsylvania.
Guys, we literally don't even have to panic. We literally don't have to freak out right now. We don't even have to we don't have to freak out. We don't have to freak out because it's not even real.
The Fox News decision desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
I'm sorry. No! Why? Do you really hate me that bad?
Now I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now.
Yeah, just a reminder, these are the people that you want me to listen to? These are the delusional people? Huh? Come on, Johnson. I think those people Those people are detrimental.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah. Next story. Next story, guys. Hit like, we're about to go to the next story. But I want to just tell you, that what we do here, we got a if you go to Tim Black, join TimBlack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. That's right. Become a member of this show. You can do that right here on YouTube or go to Patreon and join us, right? We're talking $5 a month. If you want to get excited, get accelerated, go to $10 or $20 or something. But to start off, $5 a month to support this channel, we the bleeding edge, baby. We the bleeding edge of independent media, Black independent media. We are punch them in the stomach, Johnson. Be with somebody that's willing to buck the system. I don't kowtow to Democrats. I'm trying to get us out of the burning house known as the Democratic Party, and I need your help. Wake up and smell the coffee. Nobody said you had to be a Republican. In fact, please don't be a Republican. Be an independent. I said, take your vote back from the Democrats. Make them earn your vote. They earn your vote, give it to them. If they don't earn it, they don't get it. That's how it should be. Yeah. Make them, make them earn it. The only people that are entitled would ever think that they deserve your vote or anything from you without putting something in. So go ahead and do it. Go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the show. All right. Next. I got so much here looking. I'm looking at so much here, guys. This is funny. Let's just pick something. All these are hilarious. Let's go to Candace Owens. Okay, so it came to my attention that Candace Owens, the word on the street is that Candace Owens is shit. Should I start it? Yeah, let me start it right. I'm sorry, guys. Let me do this the right way, Johnson. This is how we start segments.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Paid to run one of the largest smear campaigns against Kamala Harris. I was crazy, right? But now she's trying. When I told y'all Candace Owens was getting paid to run one of the largest smear campaigns against Kamala Harris, I was crazy, right? But now she's trying to backtrack and blame it on Christianity as to why she no longer supports Trump. It's not Christianity that's got her concerned. It's the fact that they're not paying her anymore, and she thought that her husband in proximity to whiteness and slandering Kamala Harris was going to get her on the up and up with Trump.
You know what? I don't know if this is true or not. I can tell you this now. Look now, hold on. I didn't have a problem with her smearing. I didn't have a problem with her talking bad about Kamala Harris. Hell, I talk bad about Kamala Harris. Maybe not for the same reasons as her, but who cares about reasons? I already agree with her. I agree that Kamala Harris is not a black woman. I think that she is a Jamaican Indian woman, and that's what she is. And that came out of her own mouth. That's her lineage. That's what she is. Maybe, but that doesn't mean that I co-sign, Candace Owens coming back over here. I mean, when I first heard about you guys talking about Candace is trying to sneak back, first thing I asked was to where? Because I don't know, the only way you could go back to being black or going back to the black community is if you actually were rooted in the black community. And I'm sorry, man, I don't think anybody who's willing to do the type of shit Candace Owens has been doing for a number of years, she's been doing this for years, Johnson. Candace Owens has been the poster girl for dumping on black people for almost 10 years. And you don't do that willy-nilly. She's been doing it since 2016. And I don't think you ever could be truly rooted in the black community if you're able to do that for that many years consecutively. Now you say she want to come back to the black community and you got a problem with that. I agree with you there. I co-sign that. If that's the case, I co-sign saying hell no. But let me let you keep going.
Promised her a seat just like they promised everyone else a seat, but guess who didn't get one? Because they're still a black woman. I don't know why you thought you were the exception. You were not the exception. You were the rule. Forget you were.
I don't have any evidence of anything that you're saying. I don't have any evidence that she broke. And then her husband, didn't he own an island or a king or a queen or I don't know what not a queen, but Didn't he from royalty or something? Ain't she caked up? You think she spent all that Daily Wire and Charlie Kirk money, whatever, Turning Point money, or investments. I mean, I don't think she worried about money. I just think she addicted to being the number one whatever. And they clipped her wings over the Daily Wire, so I think she was shouting she's petty. A lot of people in the news media are petty. You don't know that, but they are. You think I'm the only one to talk about people when I get, people get mad. They talk about people. They put out content. You're messing with somebody who has ink. And it's worse. People got video cameras. So anyway, yeah, I don't know if I buy this idea that she did it because somebody paid her. No, she did it because it's lucrative. She don't need nobody to pay her. She pays herself. You know how much money she was probably making? I don't know what her Patreon, or I'm sure she got a membership. She probably don't even got a middleman like my ass. She probably got a direct, throw it in the kitty. So I don't know, man. I think people don't like Candace Owens so much that they agree with you, even though there is no receipts. And I mean that with all due respect. But I'm with you in spirit.
We're posting 12 videos a fucking day during the election talking about Kamala Harris and why no one should vote for her.
You already said that, but check it out. That's how she got paid. It was very lucrative. Do you know how much money you can make during election season? And you can go viral? Election time is the best time to talk about politics. The CPM's off the roof when you're Candace Owens talking about Kamala Harris. I mean, Kamala Harris is the first black woman with an opportunity really in the last 20 years, 30 years, hell, 40 years, a shot at becoming president. Maybe ever. Of course, it would have taken all types of things to happen for that to occur, but so the CPM, the cost per million was out the roof. That means the amount of money that they were paying on YouTube and other platforms, that's just YouTube. She had videos on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, where everywhere that was paying, she had money there. Plus, she had a subscription base. I'm telling you, she was making 40, 50 grand a month. She didn't need to get paid. She was paying herself. Let's keep going.
Let's play the video.
But I want to say this, quite seriously. 4 years ago, in 2020, I had no kids. It's an incredible thing to think about. I had 0 children, and now I have 3 children. And I'm so serious when I say that I was so concerned about Kamala winning that my husband and I were having serious discussions about what will happen, what can we do, what is our option. And I know that we're not the only family that truly thought about where will we go if
you want to get on here and cry baby tears and say no one told you that Trump was going to be like this. He was never like this. Everybody told you. And you were going to college campuses with fucking Charlie Kirk debating feminists and black women, calling them wrong and saying they had equal privilege as a white man.
She still believes that. When you say she's going back, that she's... Look, guys, I don't believe you. I don't think she's changed her stance on anything. And if she did change her stance, she wouldn't tell us. Okay, so I put out content. I got her dead to rights and all the stuff she said about black people. All the negative stereotypes, the Nick Fuentes, Charlie Kirk stuff. This is her crew. That's her people, right? She didn't go back on any of that. She was able to go on black platforms and didn't even ask her about it. I can name like 4 platforms that took her back and didn't ask her any questions about any of the stuff that you're bringing up. And they weren't white platforms. They were black platforms. The Breakfast Club. Stephen A. Smith. And I'm going to leave a couple others out because I don't want the drama. But recently, she went on a white platform that didn't ask her anything. Told you. So anyway, yeah, she hasn't gone back on anything. She said black people got a culture problem, which is never something she would never say about the whites. So anyway, but yeah, let's keep going.
Paid you for a job. You did that job. But see, just like everybody else that the Trump administration took that job from that they were offered during the election, you're not going to get that seat that you wanted. You're not getting the seat in the administration that you thought you were going to get. No black person ever was, especially not a black woman. And now you're trying to go back to your other blogging page to try to rekindle some of that money you were making during the election. Not happening, Candace. We know who you are.
Yeah, maybe I'm missing something, man, and it's very possible that I'm missing something. Maybe this sister knows something I don't know. She just didn't produce any of those things. I'll tell you this, though. I think that I've been one of those people saying it's been a travesty than Black America. You know what? I don't even fault Candace Owens anymore. Yeah, I don't fault Candace Owens for doing what she was doing. I fault people that allowed her to do it and then come back and holler at you. Yeah, the people that are so devoid of integrity and the soul, and they're just greedy bastards. They try to clean it up. We just want to have conversations. We just want to have conversations. Yeah, the first conversation should be like, let me play the Tim Black video where he's done all the work and has all the clips together of all these horrible things that you said, Candace Owens. Let's start there. Stephen A. Smith, at least he did a better job of pretending like he cared. At least Stephen A. lied and said, well, look, I want to go talk to her for 20 minutes, and I could get into her past stuff, but I'm not going to do that right now. So I want you to know I'm not going to do that. Next time we talk, I'm going to do that. At least he pretended like he had to do due diligence. Because Charlamagne the God, he skipped over it like he was playing double dutch. And the rest of them did as well. We already know the white guys who brought on did that because they don't care. They don't care about black people. They just want to use black people for the tools that they are and keep it moving, which is basically what they signed up for. But hey, it is what it is. So now, Candace Owens she's a capitalist, a cutthroat capitalist. And she saw a means to an end by throwing black people under the bus. And if those black people take her back, that's on them. And they think, oh man, she could put a word together. She could say a sentence. She could say a sentence without blinking, and she talks so fast. And this is amazing because we need her on our team. We had Goofy saying that as recently as a year ago. I remember some of you. I pointed it out, but your followers didn't want to hear it. So here we are again. What's there to say, man? Black people are the punching bag of the world. We just saw we're the punching bag of the USA. Okay, we're the punching bag of the USA. And that ain't gonna ever change. And if you black and you want to make a cheap buck, all you gotta do is throw black people under the bus. That's why when you find black people that stand up for black people, we should support the hell out of them. That don't mean they can't, that doesn't mean they don't have to be good at what they do. They have to be good at what they do. They have to put some work in. They gotta work hard. We shouldn't just support it because it's black. They should have to work hard. But if they work hard and they standing with us, you should stand with them. Candace Owens know where the money was. He went to where the grass was greener. And there's a media person who's been doing this 13 years. I'm gonna tell you, that door is always open for anybody black to say, you know what? I'm tired of the BS. I'm tired of this. I'm gonna go over there and make me some real money. And that's the deal. And that's what she did. But at this point, I'm thinking she already made a lot of money and she's only coming back because, and I don't think she's coming back. I don't think she was ever with us. But if she's changing her tune, maybe some things with the Jewish thing, maybe that closed some doors for her. But somehow she's got to piece together something that makes sense monetarily to make this whole thing viable, unless she want to go into Better Homes and Gardens, which is very much open for her. I mean, I don't even know why she's still talking politics. Go do something with the kids and start writing books and, I don't know. Maybe she pissed off the conservatives so much she burnt the brand with doing any of these new lanes. I thought she was trying to go the relationship advice, life advice route. Well, maybe she realized she wasn't Megyn Kelly after all. Hey. I stand with this sister. I agree that we shouldn't tolerate it. Not only should we not tolerate her, we should not tolerate the people that would tolerate her. How about that? How's that sound? I mean, the thing she said about Black America was so egregious. I don't know how you could have a conversation with her and not address them. Now, if you're going to have a conversation with Candace Owens and address these issues and not fold like a lawn chair, well, then maybe there's a conversation to be had. But whether or not people want to rock with her, I think that's going to take some soul searching. We black, we got soul. Let's do some soul searching first. All right, y'all, let me know what you think of this segment. Candace Owens wants to come back with the blacks. Can't come back to someplace you've never been. But hey, that's just my opinion. Next, Now I've been hearing about this guy, and this guy is like, I don't know, man.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Wait, you are a token. And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in conservative media as a black guy that can confer upon white.
You know, whenever I hear a white guy say black guy, I always wonder, man. You know, I always wonder. Man. I mean, I know you're a cartoon character, you know, but I always wonder if you ever met one of these black guys in person, you know, and weren't strapped. You know, I'm just wondering because I don't know, man. I just come from an era, man, where the way you be talking, Fuentes. I mean, I know you're a cartoon character. You're like the Charleston white for whites, but you're Hispanic, so that's weird. I don't get it. I don't understand. I guess I know there's a lot of Hispanics that are neo-Nazis and white supremacists. And I keep telling people that Hispanics are white, but they don't believe me. I don't know. Mi casa, su casa. But look, man, here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. This guy, I see people make segments about this because he's calling out Jason Whitlock. And I guess the enemy of my enemy is my friend. How about the diarrhea mouth of the bigot is still not good? Like diarrhea mouth is still diarrhea mouth. Yeah, I don't need help roasting Jason Whitlock. I do that on my own. Like, why do people want to give Nick Fuentes props for saying what you should already been saying about his ass? Like, why you need to do that? Like, I'm going to bring Fuentes on here and roast his ass too. How could you have a segment where you roast Jason Whitlock and let this guy roast Jason Whitlock and you don't roast this guy? They both roastable. You got two oven stuffer roasters.
People the dignity of not being called a racist for having their views. That's why you get paid.
Yeah. Then he starts complaining about the fact that he don't make money or he did something and he got deplatformed. That he just starts saying things that don't make no damn sense. It's sort of like when they threw other people off platforms. You know how hard you got to work to get kicked off every platform? It's not something that happens right away. I mean, Alex Jones had a hell of a run. He ran for 20 years. And then he just touched the third rail, which was babies. I mean, not literally. He wasn't literally touching babies, but you know what I'm saying. You know, people came for his ass. Andrew Tate had a hell of a run. You know, he had a hell of a run. He built all that money, amassed all this stuff. In fact, I just saw a segment on CNN with him in it. So, yeah, he made a lot of noise. He made the news, literally. And now y'all want to complain? Listen to this.
And that's why I don't, because I didn't have the privilege of being born black.
Listen to this shit, and I blame Charlamagne the God for this. Charlamagne is one of the people that said, he put out a book. Well, he put his name on a book. He put his name on a book about black privilege. And now we got corny Mexicans using it, saying being black is a privilege. I mean, it's funny. They didn't say that before 1970 because we didn't have rights until about 1970. Looks like he was born after 1970, so I guess he could say dumb shit like that. Yeah, nobody counts the amount of black. You know, no one. When people go to look at movies, no one. If you're a white guy, you never have to look and see if there's a white person in the movie because only about 5 of them come out a year. Nobody's BSing and putting you on the cover of black websites to try to get white people to watch the video because they won't watch it if you're not in it. Anyway, it's just I noticed in Netflix they put it could be a white guy who walks by in a video in a movie and picks up a chair and stacks it and walks out and he's not seen again in the movie, but they'll put him in the trailer and they'll put him on, you know, the marketing materials because they want to get black people to watch the movie. I'm just saying, white people don't have these problems. The problem, what I'm saying is, you're saying dumb things that don't make sense about being, you know, you weren't fortunate enough to be black. Now, you weren't fortunate enough to be tall. You weren't fortunate enough to have any bass in your voice when you speak. It's a lot of things you weren't fortunate enough to have. Facial hair, you know. But your color, your skin, that's the only thing that's working for you here in America. Is that for you? You know? It's obvious your balls ain't dropped yet, or you sound like a man. I'm just saying, man, let's be honest. I mean,
I was born white, so there's a limit on what I can say.
now you were born white, so there's a limit to how long you can stay in the sun. Son. You can say whatever you want to say. You just can't get money. Like if you say the wrong shit. But you can say whatever you want to say. Hey man, you know, we got freedom of speech in this country. Everybody has freedom of speech. It's just you're going to have to pay for it. So we get this right. You such a baby because you got to pay for what you say. Nah, man, when I say what I say, I meant to say what I said. If, you know, and the chips fall where they may, and when I mess up, I can get mad about it, but I don't be complaining like this only me they come after. Nah, man, too many white guys have been canceled for you to up there act like it's just you. Too many white people got canceled because white people say shit because they think they can say whatever they want without repercussions. Black people get repercussions too. We the first fired, last hired. Happens all the time. You just don't pay attention because you don't care. And it's not your existence. But I know with you, it's your lust. They like these guys lust after saying the N-word. It's like their entire existence is hoping that one day they'll be able to sound like all their favorite rappers. They just can't get over it, man. Like that's the dream. You know, I guess when you got good credit scores, get into the best schools and get accurate appraisals on your homes, it's just that one last thing left. The N-word. Gotta say it. And if you can't say that, what good is life? Right, Fuentes?
There's a limit on what I can say without being penalized in the so-called free marketplace of ideas.
All they do is cry. Damn, man. Stop playing victim. Yeah, man, stop playing victim, Fuentes. That's not becoming of you, being of the master race. Why do the master race get to play victim? I mean, you guys run America, so if America's not doing what you wanted to do, wouldn't that be your fault? I mean, we've only had one half black president, but he was also half white, right? And he wasn't even black, he was African. So how could you possibly blame anybody other than yourself for your predicament? You know? Who's disenfranchising you? You can't say black people, but still somehow he's making a segment knocking Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock don't control anything. His bladder, his appetite, nothing. He controls nothing. Zero. Look at him. I don't get it. I don't understand. Why do people like this guy? I heard people like him. I don't know why. Oh, because he says mean things about the blacks. That's what it is. They love that.
And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it.
Looking for things to say, but can't come up with anything off the top of the head like moi, huh, sir? Yeah, man, you are not the Eminem, sir. You're not the Eminem, you know what I'm saying? You're just not. Because he would be able to say something that was interesting at this point. You've been complaining a lot. You've been complaining this whole time. Let him go for about 10 more seconds. Let's see if he comes up with anything.
Everybody knows.
That's 3 in a row. I guess if you just say it more in high pitch, Leave It to Beaver will come up with something that makes sense.
And everybody's sick of it.
Everybody's sick of it. Who is everybody? Yeah, who the fuck is everybody? I'm sorry. Who's everybody, sir? I don't know who everybody is. Be more specific. Grow a pair and say who was everybody.
Especially in the conservative space, that blacks have had it easy.
Look how anyway, he just goes back to the same old punchline. Get blacks. Yeah. I don't think that Candace Owen had it easy over there with you morons. I mean, she was up against Tommy Lauren. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, I bodied Tommy. I bodied her in 2017, wasn't it? So now, man, come on, Johnson. It's nothing. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and go here. Look, guys, Nick Fuentes, hey, I agree, man. I agree. I agree that what's his name? I agree that Jason Whitlock is probably what you consider a token. Not probably. Jason Whitlock is a token. But I say that about Dr. Jason Johnson and all the blacks that work with the Democrats too, because they are tokens. The Democratic Party is a white party, just like the Republican Party is a white party. They're both white parties. It's just how white do you want to be? That's it. At the end of the day, they all answer to the same bosses. They're donors, which are typically Wall Street and big pharmaceuticals. So as long as they have that in common, they're the same people. I don't care who they let lock up the place. I mean, come on, at the end of the day, if these are the same people that own it because they're the ones with the receipts, they're the ones that pay the bills, then we're talking about the same people. So I really don't know. I don't see a distinction between who's more of a sellout. Jason Whitlock is horrible, but you're horrible too. Only thing different, I think, with you is that you're independent, who complains and cries. I don't think I ever hear Jason Whitlock crying. Just you. Oh, you're made for each other. That's funny when conservatives are going after conservatives about who's more deserving or who's something. I don't know. Look, man, not interested. Yeah, thank you for sending me this story on Nick Fuentes. He's boring, you know. I don't know why it's so punchy for him to say black 6 times in the loudest voice possible, as if that's hurting my feelings. It's not really making any points. What he's going to say next? Black people get locked up? Black people go to jail? What are you going to say? Yeah. Anyway, moving on, guys. Give me a like on this one if you watch it. Give me a like on whatever platform you're on. If you're on X or if you're on Facebook, please share this content. That's how you do it. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. We're trying to reach as many people as possible, and you can be a catalyst and making sure people get some truth. They need some raw truth, man. These people be coasting in the slow lane with Nick Fuentes. My last clip of the night is going to be Stephen A. Smith, guys. And hey, man, X gonna give it to you.
He is calling out the president, Donald Trump. I will. And I'm not going to call him names and all of this stuff like stupid folks on the left doing, engaging in incendiary rhetoric. It's unnecessary, it's immature, and it's uncalled for. He's the president of the United States.
Look at him kissing ass up to the gate. When you're calling people out, that means you disagree with them. You're not trying to court their audience and disagree with them. What's this guy? Let's go, man. This is going to be fun.
Treat him with the respect that he deserves, but in the same breath, call him to the carpet for stuff that he's doing.
All right, that was Stephen A. Smith, host of ESPN's First Take. He's one of the most, maybe the most listened to sports commentator in America. Lately, he's been talking a lot about politics. And this week, he opened the door to a possible run for president in 2028. So joining me now, Stephen A. Smith. Thank you very much for being here on This Week. So
happy to be here.
We'll get to your possible political future in a second, but you said when Trump got elected, we should give him a chance. How's it going? I mean, what's your take on where Trump is now at day 80 plus?
Well, I don't like what I'm seeing, but I'm not surprised. I mean, this whole tariff war situation is utterly ridiculous. I mean, my attitude is that he should have immediately targeted China and not every nation on the planet, for crying out loud, just throwing tariffs at everybody. Ultimately, he dialed that back, as we saw over the last few days, and folks on the right are up in arms. Basically, I should say, I mean, positively, essentially saying that was the plan all along. There doesn't appear to be a plan. Let's be very, very clear about that. It seems to be a bit very haphazard, and it's just thrown against the wall to see what will stick. But in the end, what you have to applaud them for is for trying something. We're spending about $2 trillion more, than we're raking in. We're losing our credit rating. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the United States of America financially, economically, that has been, tinkering towards disaster, and somebody had to do something. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, I can understand the need for tariffs, as Senator Elizabeth Warren had articulated. But in the end, what it comes down to is that it does seem to be a bit haphazard right now. And it seemed geared towards large businesses, when we all know small businesses is what makes this country thrive. And I don't see him targeting that nearly enough, but we shall see.
I mean, this is one thing he's been consistent on forever. He's been saying America gets ripped off in trade. He's been an advocate of tariffs, even before he was an advocate of, stopping immigration. What about this idea that we can bring back American manufacturing through tariffs? I mean, is that realistic? Is it plausible?
Well, listen, there are better minds than me that can answer that question. I can't see that happening. I think they've said that we've lost over 5 million manufacturing jobs over the last 20 plus years or so. I don't know if that's coming back, particularly with the age of AI, Chat GPT, and other things coming into the forefront. I just can't see that happening. But again, if that's the song that you want to sing to the American public, to the constituency out there that you think is going to vote for you, he seems very convincing in letting people know what he feels and getting them to see his way of thinking. But I think it's a byproduct rather, of the Democratic Party, and the fact that they don't seem to have any mission, any vision, any kind of leadership. They seem rudderless, to say the least. And now it's at a point where they're getting mocked religiously. And so as a result of that, you're going to look at him, and regardless of the troubles that you think he might bring forth, unless things become disastrous economically, the fact of the matter is the American people have already said during the last election, he's a bit more normal or closer to normal than the Democratic Party. And that's where the real problem lies.
Yeah.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
It's like Stephen A. Smith. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. Stephen A. Smith talks out both sides of his mouth at the same time, but then he pretends there's something novel about it, like it's a brand new thing that nobody ever invented. I don't know if you ever met Hillary Clinton. She did the same thing too. It's called triangulation. That's what you do. Your word salad is very word salady, and it's not really full of any nutrients. It's like empty. It's like he's breaking new ground, but the ground, we've got houses and condos already built up on it. In fact, there's a ski resort growing out of it. Haphazard, but he's also losing his mind. But we got to give him credit for trying. I mean, come on, Johnson. Like, it's so obvious what he's doing. He's courting Trump voters and going out to independents. Meanwhile, trying not to piss off Democrats. And you can't serve like three masters at one time. And this is a horrible way to go, I believe. And it doesn't make sense. I don't think it's very serious for him to do. But hey, if this is a marketing ploy that Stephen A. Smith is using in order to put himself in position to, I don't know what exactly. Okay, cool. Hey man, self-promotion is the way to do it. I mean, we're in the world again, Gary Vaynerchuk, you know what I'm saying? The brand, branding, you know what I'm saying? Seth Godin, brand, build your brand, earn your leisure, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Okay, cool, fine. Like those guys don't know anything else. They know about how to build the brand, and that's pretty much all they did. And they talk about things they know nothing about. And then kiss the Democratic Party ass, and then that'll help them fund the events. And then they say things that other people have said 5,000 times, and they just say it different with a different color skin, and people, this is great. And that's sort of like what Stephen A. Smith is doing, man. This is nothing new. There's nothing interesting about it. And I don't even think Stephen A. believes what he's saying. But once again, if this is a marketing ploy, kudos. But I would like for this guy to dismember you live on the show so I have something else to say in this conversation.
It might be a two-party system, but there's only one party running this country right now because the Democrats have no muscle whatsoever.
Well, let me ask you about the Democrats. So Elizabeth Warren talked about getting Congress to stop him. I mean, that's not really going to go anywhere. You got the House is controlled by the Republicans. So is the Senate. He's not going to sign anything into law. And then we had Gretchen Whitmer, who's talked about as a possible candidate for president. She's tried to engage Trump. She was in the Oval Office. I'm sure you saw this. I mean, maybe we can bring up the picture. At one point, she seemed like she was trying to hide behind her own binder as Trump was praising her. What did you make of Whitmer trying to engage Trump?
Well, listen, she's the governor of Michigan. She has no choice but to do that. And anybody that thinks otherwise is just being foolish and immature and childish. The fact is that she's the governor of a state in the United States of America. You need to do business with the federal government. He's the president of the United States. You don't get to circumvent him. So as a result, you have to be an adult in the room and be prepared to do business. And
Stephen A. Smith, he said that AI was going to hurt manufacturing jobs. I don't know how AI manufactures jobs. I don't know what he's talking about. That didn't make sense. That guy let it float. But I got to say this. See, this is why Stephen A. Smith doesn't have an opportunity. Don't get it twisted. Stranger things have happened. We just saw Donald Trump become president twice. So I'm not dismissing Stephen A. because he's a newscaster. Yeah, he's very popular, so he's got a shot. But what I will say, the problem is that he doesn't go far enough where he needs to go. For instance, this Gretchen Whitmer thing, he should be saying, Gretchen Whitmer, she just ruined her career. I feel she ruined her career with this. I mean, putting a binder in front of your face is very weak. She just ruined her 2028 chances by doing that, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. I don't know what possessed her to do that. So, and that's something that was a missed opportunity on Stephen A. Smith to say that, grab a news cycle, but he wants to kiss the Democratic Party ass. And this is exactly what I'm saying is why Stephen A. is a joke. Because if he was really trying to go at it, he has both sides he needs to fight against, but he's just trying to remain cool with both sides, and you can't do that. You gotta go rogue.
Anybody that would encourage her to do otherwise is just being utterly ridiculous. I was watching Bill Maher in real time. I'm sorry.
Well, let me ask you, though. She was there while he was signing these executive orders, basically asking his Justice Department to investigate, people that had criticized him. Should she have used that opportunity she's there to actually speak up on that?
Probably so. I mean, again, but the real issue is that whatever it takes to get business done is what we need to be focused on. Whatever her business is with that particular issue or her particular state, I understand that. The bigger picture here is that Elizabeth Warren was just on with you. You're going to have a multitude of Democratic representatives on with you. They talk and they talk and they talk, but what can they do? They position themselves to do absolutely nothing. I didn't hear anything about tariffs from the Democrats before the election. Trump had been preaching about this for the longest time. The way people decry his strategy, he's been bloviating about that. They said nothing about it. Instead, they talked about everything from woke culture to cancer culture to abortion rights and all of this other stuff. But that wasn't going to win the election. And that's what we have to look at. What is it going to take to get the job done? That's why somebody who's a sports analyst, for crying out loud, is in the daggone polls. It's not somebody big up in me. It's an indictment against a Democratic Party that doesn't have leadership and doesn't have a vision. And it's sad.
I saw you mentioned Bill Maher. I saw Steve Bannon was on with Bill Maher, and he was asked what Democrats he worries about. And the only name he mentioned as a Democrat he'd be worried about. So are you really thinking about running for president? Is this something you think?
Listen, I have no choice because I've had elected officials, and I'm not going to give their names, elected officials coming up to me. I've had folks who are pundits come up to me. I've had folks that got a lot of money, billionaires and others, that have talked to me about exploratory committees and things of that nature. I'm not a politician. I've never had a desire to be a politician. I just signed a contract extension with ESPN. I am very, very
pretty
happy
good one, too.
With my day job. I'm very happy with my boss. This is a pretty damn good one. Just right. It's a pretty damn good contract. I couldn't be happier. But here's the reality. People have walked up to me, including my own pastor, for crying out loud, who has said to me, you don't know what God has planned for you. At least show the respect to the people who believe in you, who respect you, who believe that you can make a difference in this country, to leave the door open for any possibilities 2 to 3 years down the line. And that's what I've decided to do. But again, whether it's Westmore, Governor Westmore, who I know, or Governor Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, who I know, Andrew Cuomo, who I had the pleasure of interviewing, who's trying to get back in things, to be the mayor of be the next mayor of New York, etc. I see a lot of people that obviously and clearly are more qualified than me. But in the same breath, when you think about what Trump is getting away with, when you think about what you brought up about Steve Bannon, who's trying to be slick because he's looking at a non-political individual like myself, looking at me as a populist, but you better be careful what you ask for, because some of the stuff that Trump and the right has been trying to get away with, like circumventing the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution, talking about how there could be a third term, excuse me, be careful what you wish for, because if any GOP member, if any Republican supports that, I don't want to hear a word out of their mouth ever again about the following the Constitution, the Constitution, the Constitution. That's what they've been living off for years. And then you're talking about circumventing the 22nd Amendment, and you think that's cool? No way. That's not something that we should stand for. So I would hope somebody else would step up that's more qualified than me. But if it has to come down to me, it is something I would consider. Yes, I would, because I don't mind the thought of tussling with these folks at all, on the left or the right. All of them disgust me, to be quite honest with you.
All right, Stephen A. Smith, will you come back on the show? We'll have you. We'll continue.
Yeah, man. Okay. What can I say? What can I say, Johnson? What can I say? What can I say? Yeah. Only in a world as bad as this, only in a political system as corrupt as ours, as constrained as ours, as weak as ours, would we even be having this conversation. And at least he's humble enough to make that clean, make that point himself. So I appreciate that in there. Yeah. If Stephen A. Smith was really talking about something revolutionary, they wouldn't let him talk. Yeah, if he was saying some real shit like this, like, hey, he finished with it, but earlier he should have said, hey, he said, who's running the system? In part running the system. He's saying that the Democrats weren't running anything because the Democrats did so bad or whatever. That still sounds like somebody is leaning Democrat. It ain't about who's running it. It's about who's running it behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? It's not about who's driving the car. It's about who owns the car. And to me, that's where you need to be making revolutionary type of talk. We start talking about these donors, start talking about these big corporations that are running things. Then that's when all of a sudden Sandman Sims comes out, starts dancing, and out comes the umbrella, hooking you and pulling you behind stage. Or into a trap door, not like Diddy, one where your ankles break. I'm talking about a trap door like the Interview with a Vampire trap door. You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, then, when you start talking about the system and upending the system and fixing the system, because that's what we really need to see happen. I mean, we didn't get where we are now with the trade issue without that type of system in place. And we ain't going to fix it just by doing the tariff thing. That ain't going to get it done. And we ain't going to have a leader that's willing to go and say, and start making new ground and calling all of it out, not just calling out the Democrats. It's so easy to call out the Democrats when they're wounded like a gazelle on the Serengeti, walking around with 3 legs. Come on, man. 21% rating? Come on, Johnson. Like, going out to them is the easiest thing in the world to do. I noticed Stephen A. don't have that much smoke for Trump. But if he was serious, he'd be making more smoke at Trump right now. Because Trump will respond, because that's what Trump does. Hell, by the end of this, look, I may be ahead of myself. By next week, he probably will start doing that. It is what it is, Johnson. I can't even knock it. If the guy, if people are buying into it, if people are actually polling and saying that America is interested in Stephen A. Smith, then what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Well, who am I to say? Who am I to say you don't have a shot? I just think it's funny. Because Stephen A. Smith it appears to me, Stephen A. Smith sit back, he watches YouTube videos, makes a couple of notes, and then talks to Chris Cuomo, and then comes out and starts talking. And that's all that to me is the extent that Stephen A. even cares about this shit. And if you just memorize the same things and go on every show and say the same things 5 times, 10 times, like that's all he's doing. Same talking points he said on The View. Same talking points he said on Bill Maher. It's always the same thing. And until you're having a conversation where he's going to have to think on his feet, start talking about his vision, that's when all the wheels come off the clown car. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, that's all I got. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, Johnson. Let's go to comments. Who's out there? Ibn Sabil says a little something for your cornbread, Tim. I think Carmelo Anthony's situation is a case of involuntary manslaughter. It could be, my brother. Could be. Could be. Aline Dorsaint, thank you for supporting this show. I appreciate you both. Ibn, Candace got beef with the small hats, and that's why she's not supporting Trump's policy with. Got it. There we go, Bibby. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And I get it. Yeah. If she got nowhere else to go, she's going to do that. Yeah. I don't know where she goes with that. Trust No Party. Thank you, Trust No Party. Yeah, I feel you. She got beef with the small hats, so now she's like, what do I do? Where do I go? She's just so, look, she's so entitled. Candace Owens is so entitled based on the life she's been living the last decade. She ain't used to being told no. She ain't been used to being told she got to operate within a certain parameter. But notice she has not been fully canceled. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they have labeled her anti. So I don't know, man. I don't know who she was around, but she thought she could say whatever she wanted to say and that she would go unscathed. But welcome to the real world. Yeah, welcome to the real world. And coming to hide behind black people ain't going to get it done. Now, she ain't going to be able to go hire Johnny Cochran. Yeah. This time, Johnny wouldn't even take that case. Not against them folks. Wow. It's a wrap, Johnson. How my people doing? My people good? Yeah. If Stephen A. Smith happens to win, we'll have another Biden-type presidency. Yeah. Just looking to get destroyed. So much money. Yeah, I'm wondering who would give money to Stephen A. Stephen A. said people are contacting him and offering him money for an exploratory committee. Yeah, you know what? Because they don't care who they prop up. If the people like it, they're like, we'll prop up anybody. And they know Stephen A. will just do what he's told to do. He'll fall right in line. So it doesn't matter who it is. As long as they own you, what difference does it make? That's my point. It doesn't matter who you are if you all work for the same people. H-Stack said it. He'll do nothing to improve the lives of working class people, and the useless news actors will never ask him the right questions. Of course they won't. They feel like anybody who's out here that'll run interference, that'll say anything negative about Trump, anybody, they're willing to bring them on. I'm surprised they brought him on here. And Stephen A. held a lot of fire, but he did throw a couple haymakers towards the Democrats. So we'll see. That's his MO. Hit both sides and then run to the center. Hit both sides and run to the center. Both sides and run to the center. Yeah. Yo. Yeah. I don't know who that is. Oh, God. See you there inside FBA. Look at his hairline. That's funny. I don't know where his people from. Y'all cold-hearted, man. He look black, but I don't know his family. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious, man. His nephew. What is his nephew? I don't know if that matters. Yo. So look, guys, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it. Hit me up. Go to tim@timberlaketv.com. tim@timberlaketv.com is where you send suggestions for stories so I can stay on top. Look, guys, know this, man. Sometimes I don't cover stuff you want me to cover. It's because I didn't see it. I'm busy as hell. But if you recommend it, and if you are particularly my Tim Black Wolfpack members, if you're a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack and you make a recommendation, you'd be surprised I might cover it. Or don't be surprised if I cover it. I'm looking for stories. So I want to cover the issues that matter to us. Right? So do it. tim@timberlaketv.com. Send your story suggestions and what you find interesting. And that makes my job a lot easier, fam. He's from the Caribbean. He's from the Caribbean, fam. Yeah. I see Stephen A. is just so comfortable in his life of living with the paychecks, money, and the capital system. I just don't see him doing anything ever to upset that situation. Like, nah. So I don't know, man. People say, yo, Stephen A. can help turn the system against itself. What? No, Stephen A. would join the system gladly. Gladly he will. I don't know, man. It takes a certain type of person to be willing to do anything against the system. And I don't think anybody on the horizon is interested in doing that either. I don't think Wes Moore wants to upset the system, Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, none of them. The closest you're going to get is Trump. And we'll see how far he gets. They already tried to take him out twice. All right, now. I appreciate y'all. Remember, like I always say, don't let anybody take your cornbread. Keep your cornbread, Johnson. It's your job to keep it. I got number love for you. I see you here tomorrow, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Buck Bewley and the one and only Black Mama. Thanks for moderating. Thank you to all the Wolfpack for doing what you do. Don't trip. We built for this. We built for the truth. It's my job. It's my duty to give you the truth. It's your job if you can take it. We built for this. All right, guys, I'm out. And as always, where are my ladies? Where are my babies?